So let's say you met someone in medical school. There are three main pathways you should concern yourself with: dating, friendship, and hooking up. Now, many of you will find dating a low-yield topic. I repeat, low yield, so I will not waste my time with this. Now, the next pathway is friendship. And in many instances of friendship, an irreversible step occurs called the friend zone. Folks, this is very high yield. Let me repeat, this is an irreversible step that you cannot exit from. Now, the next step is hooking up. And many of you also know that it can be inefficient and futile, and many fail because of the critical rate-determining step, the talk. So how is hooking up initiated? Now, this requires a multitude of transcription factors and proteins that you don't need to know. Low yield for the bones. And ultimately relies on whether one of you or both of you are secreting the DTF pheromone. Ladies and gentlemen, this is not a dehydrogenase, this is a pheromone. Another point to mention is that DTF bonding compatibility can be partially inducible by alcohol. Now we're going to move on and talk about a pathway which is critical for both academic and social success, and that is the dormitory lecture hall 2 shuttle. Now, this pathway seems very difficult at first, and depending on where you went to school, they might have taught you 10 steps, but ladies and gentlemen, there are 4 high-yield steps in this process. First, while in the dorm, the student is packaged with a notebook, a laptop, and a variable amount of stress. The student is then covered by an outer membrane of denim and wrinkled fabric. Now, step 3 is also a very high-yield step for the National Board. In step 3, the student is sequestered by security, an identification-gated channel which varies in selectivity. And then finally, in step 4, the student is released and floats freely through the downstate matrix. As we see here, the influx of students around 9:03 a.m. causes the potential to spike. A variety of factors cause a steady drop, and then we'll see the learning potential return back to 0. Now back to the pathway. I cannot stress this enough. Step 2 is key for this transport pathway. And because it's so critical and so easily accessible to other molecules, it is highly regulated. Ladies and gentlemen, this is high yield for the bones. Some of these regulatory factors include day of the week, timing relative to the exam, and positively regulated by Dr. Luz. We all love that woman, and if she's lecturing, I'm coming to the lecture hall.